Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to be creating some nails for this. So that's why I have the reference image on the left and right hand side rather. So I'm still going to reuse this particular piece for the nails because of the topology for it. So I just made a duplicate for this with Ctrl D. So now let me just go into this front view and kind of raise this up. So I'll just move this upward with the gizmo. So I'm going to try to eyeball, let's say the size of this nail or the nail head, how broad it should be. So I'll just kind of find a scale that is close enough. Maybe I'll just use this as a guide for the nail itself. So let me just select it again. Okay, that should be fine. Okay. Okay, let me just push it this way. Just checking the scale just to be sure. So I'm framing this on this by hitting the F key on the keyboard. So from the top view, let me kind of check this from the top view. Let me see, let me zoom in again and kind of use this as a guide to kind of measure the tip, but it should be a bit smaller than this. Probably somewhere around here should be fine, I think. Yeah, somewhere around here should be fine. Okay, so let me maximize the perspective view by hitting the space bar, framing through this by hitting F key. Then let me just see. Yeah, I think we're good with this. Then I'm going to be extruding the inner parts. Let's get this up a bit, somewhere around here, just to have a thickness around this. And just see, this thickness should be fine. If it's not, I can use adjust that, probably even higher, a bit higher. I'm kind of using the podcast to kind of average the size out with that. So because the nails should be obviously smaller than those podcasts, so that is why I'm kind of using the podcast as a reference point for sizing this up. So checking the podcast again and checking the size of mine. Okay. It looks way too small though, but I think that should work just fine. So let me just kind of get this around here, up like so, framing this, and even up. I think I might need to let me scale this up a bit. It's fine though, even though the sizing is not correct, I can always adjust that later on. But I believe this should be close enough to what we need it for. Okay, we're not really using a natural measurement for this. I'm just using my eye to kind of measure things out, to kind of figure out how this thing should be. But I think it should be fine though. It should be fine. So I'm going to be extruding. Let me go to the face mode. Face. I'll select this inner face. I'm going to be extruding that, pulling that even downwards. Let me just go from this view, from the front view. The front view should be fine for this. And I'll push this down like so. I think this should be smaller than it is right now. Let's see. Let's check this and be sure. This extruded part should be smaller than it is right now. I might just have to scale this down. So I'm kind of thinking if I should scale down this loop, double click on this to scale. Maybe I'll scale up this loop, something like this, just to match. Probably just to match it. Let's see. There are various ways to fix this though. I'm just looking for a way that we can use to fix it that will be a bit faster. But regardless, whichever way you choose to fix this is still fine. So I think I'm going to select. I think I'm going to do a select for this extruded part. Yes. Select all of this, and I will squash this in the scale tool. Oh, and I should select everything downwards also. All of this, including the flatted bottom faces too. So all of this is selected now. So I will need to shrink. I will need to shrink this inwards. Let me just zoom out. Okay, yeah, I will need to do that. It's better this way. So let me just undo this one more time. and scale this in. It should be faster. It should make things a bit easier for me. So extrude. Then let me go to the front view. So this is the faster way of doing it. So now I'll just push this down like so. I think this should be fine. Maybe even more. Yeah, around here. Let me take a little bit more like so. Yeah, this should be fine. This should be fine. Should be fine. Okay, so I think I would, let me just click extrude again. And I'm going to do an offset just to push this like inner extrude. And I'll push this out like so. Probably even more. I might even need to even scale this again. So let me just scale this in. Something like this should be fine. I think I need to push this down more like so. So it feels more pointed and kind of having a sharp end to it. Maybe down a bit more. Shrink this in a bit more. Okay. Though this particular part is not really going to be visible in our renders because this part will be nailed into the wood, the bat itself. So let me just get this in like so. So the center dots, the center vertex, I'm just pushing that downwards a bit more just to have that sharp edge to this. So that's fine. So first, let me double click on this loop. Double click on, let me go in here again. Let me click one, double click on this with holding down shift. Or rather, you don't need to hold shift, just double hold. Okay, you should hold shift, actually hold shift for that. But basically, once you click one, the next one you hold down shift and then you double click it. That will do a loop selection for you. I think I'll be scaling this outward, like so, should be fine. Yeah, this should be fine. But I think from the front view, I'll need to go to, I think I need to go to vertex mode. Yes, so let me push this upwards like so, just to have this flattened out like so. Though the inner part, that is the center part, that is the top center part that is poking in, it's kind of fine though. It's kind of fine. If I smooth this out, I believe if I smooth this out, that should give me like a depth in there. That is still fine though. Okay, let me just fix this. Let me fix this. But I think I will be leaving that. Let me leave it. Let me try and smooth this out and see what I have. So let me just go to object mode and hit 3 on the keyboard. Okay, let me check this again. Okay, before I do that, let me add some loops. So I'll be using the multi-cut for this. Is multi-cut. So add an edge loop here. Control hold down shift just to have this in the center. If you need to have a center line in here, control hold down shift to snap this to the center. Okay. Then I will need another loop here. Because I need loops around this to kind of hold those edges for me so that it doesn't get smoothed far out too much. Yeah, I think that this is close enough. It should be fine. It should be fine. So I need now to kind of have like evened out loop around the entire nail, like we did for the bat also. So evened out loop around this. So I'm using the insert edge loop rather. So let me kind of count and see how many average of this we need. So around maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 should be fine. So make sure this is on multiple edge loop. So type in 7 and then just click in there. Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So like you already know, using the insert edge loop gives you evened out spacing on this. So and that's exactly what we need. So when we kind of hit 3 to kind of smooth that out, now we have evened out. This is all evened out, which is fine. Yeah, this is actually cool. You can actually work with this. You can definitely work with this. So hit 1 again. Let me just click out. I should be on object mode instead. But this should be fine. This should be fine. Maybe probably even have an extra loop here. Probably. Yes, we should have an extra loop in the center here. Yeah, that should be fine. So that should kind of average things out a bit more. That should average things out a bit more for us here. That's fine. We can definitely work with this. can definitely work with this. And we also need to make a duplicate for this since we have kind of finalized on the final topology for this before converting this smooth preview to actual smoothed polygons. So I'm just checking this out just to be sure if I like this. And I actually do. Actually like how this turned out. Actually like how this turned out. So let me just scale this up a bit more. I'll make a duplicate of this. I'll push this to the side. Then I'll just name this to nail. What should we name this as? Probably even low poly. Okay, high poly instead, high poly, because I'm going to be converting the smooth preview to actual polygons. So then it should be the low poly, nail, low poly. Probably even name this low poly backup if I want to, but just leave this as it is. I think I also let me name this backup. Yeah, backup, just to keep this defined so I know what it actually is. Drag this all the way down like so. Then hide that with Control H to hide. Then we can work with this now. So we can actually convert this now to smooth to actual polygon. So modify, convert. So we use the oh, what did I do? Let me just select this. Select this again and repeat that process. Convert smooth mesh preview to polygons. So go to polygon smooth face. So this should be on one division. One division should work just fine. We don't need a crazy amount of polygons in here. So one division would work just fine for what we want to use it for. Then obviously delete history by type. Delete history rather. We can scale this in. So in this part now, we're going to be duplicating this all over the place. So let me just get this to 90. Just to get this at an angle, it's a sharp angle. Then let me give this blink material, more reflective material. Let me delete history on this. Then I'll just give this an even darker material. And let me just slide this in. Because I want to kind of separate this out from the other parts of the model. I think I might need to darken this even more. And push this in out like so. So around here to be fine. So I am going to be duplicating this all over the place. Like all over the place, like all over the place. No, not really all over the place though. But at some specific angles. So let me just kind of get things working in here. I think it should be fine. I think I can rotate this now. Yeah, let me rotate this. But you don't want this to look like the same all over the place. So you want to kind of have this rotated at an angle that looks off from the previous one. So it gives you that kind of variation that feels more realistic. So I'm just going to be repeating this process all over the place. Duplicate, move, rotate, and adjust this into the bat itself. Let me just rotate this like so. And I'll use the move tool to kind of move this in place. Maybe drag this center part instead. So I can move this with the camera angle. Can push this in like so. So it's actually in ZBrush we're going to be bending up some of these nails and make it look more interesting. But for now, I'm just trying to do like blockouts and just try to have things in place. So we're still kind of far from done, but at least this should be the last thing we'll be doing in here. At least this is the last model last object we'll be working on in here. Because we already have basically everything we need right now. So what we need to be doing next is taking this into ZBrush and then try to kind of detail this even more and make this feel even more realistic. So that's basically what we're going to be doing next. But let's kind of get this around the place. So let me kind of move this pivot now. Same thing I did for the podcast too. I'll move the pivot around the center of this halo ring. Something like this. So I've already combined all these names already. So then There should be fine. Yes, so now I can do a duplicate of this and I'll rotate that duplicate somewhere around here. And I'll do another duplicate again and rotate that somewhere around here. Okay, so now it's not completely there, but if you want to leave this the way it is, that's completely fine. That's completely up to you. But I will still want to break up the variations of these nails even more and even probably add some more to kind of fill up some of those empty gaps we have in here. So face mode, double click on this face. So double click on that face to kind of adjust that as an individual face object. So I move this way. Just kind of trying to fill some of those gaps up. I think I might even need to even duplicate this face. But I'm sure you already get the idea of what I'm going to do in case I need to do that. So you can obviously select all these faces and then duplicate that face. That will give another extra nail that you can now begin to use to manipulate all over. Let me just kind of get this kind of close up this space in between a bit more. Face mode, face, double click on that face, select all those faces on the other particular individual nail. And I can move this and rotate it however way I want. I'm just kind of breaking the variation of the nails in there so it doesn't look the same all over the place. Okay. So now I've duplicated that now. So I really think I would use the rotate. I don't know. Okay, let's see. I would think I'll just have to duplicate one of this and then duplicate one of this and then just okay, let me see. Just checking this all around just to be sure. Uh Probably even do a duplicate of this. Let me see. Okay, let me just manipulate this even more before I do duplicates. But this is completely up to you. This is completely up to you. However, let me duplicate face now. So that I should have an extra face now from the outliner. So if I should let me select check this from the outliner. So we have two of this now. So one of them should be the extra piece. But actually, yeah, this is the extra piece. So I'll go to my center pivot. So I can move this out now here. So let me just move this in place. So I can just keep duplicating this particular single piece and keep moving this all over the place to kind of fill up some of those gaps that we have in there. So let me rotate. Should I rotate this? Let me rotate this like so. Now we need to duplicate that also and fill up this gap in here and do a rotation for this. Okay. So yeah, I think I'll be duplicating this even more around the place. Try those single piece. Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks fine. So let me select all of this now. Show that one select okay. And this also I think there are some one more we need to okay, let me combine this one first. Delete H3, make a duplicate of this, and I move that duplicate up. And I also need to rotate this so it doesn't feel too similar to the one down. So let me move this way, somewhere like so. Do rotation, I'll rotate. Okay, let me center pivot on this first. Then I'll rotate this like so. Just to break up that uniformity and similarity with the one below. So do another duplicate like this and push this down. Probably let me scale this in so the height feels randomized. Do me probably a rotation for this also, like so. Okay. Let me push this upwards like so. I don't want to make too many nails everywhere because that will just make the design look too busy, like extremely busy. So let me just move this in like so. I think I might just need to start adjusting some things individually. But let's see. Let me just check this around to be sure if everything is entering into the bat itself. Which it is, but if you want to still make extra corrections on this, you can always do that. It's not completely necessary though, but if you want to, you can do that. That's also cool. Okay, let me just. I'm just trying to break up the uniformity of the duplicated piece, so it feels a bit different from the other ones. So the more variation you add on this, the more appealing it looks. So please always make sure you save. Please make sure you're saving this file. Very important. You do not want to lose this file, so make sure you're saving. I think there's a gap in here. Let's turn this way. You still have some gaps and it's filling up, but you need to be really careful because you don't want to go overboard and then you just have to your design just becomes too noisy. But let me just duplicate this space and kind of fill up this gap. This gap is just way too broad, like it's way too empty, so I don't want that to be too empty. So let me kind of move that duplicate off like so. Even rotate this even more like so, should be fine. You push this out. I might just duplicate this also just to fill up the gap down here like so. Rotate this also. Right in here. Okay, make this in here also like so. I'll push this in so it's touching or entering into the wood itself. Probably something like so should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. There's some empty gaps here also. Let me duplicate. I'll duplicate this also. Seems to be an empty gap on the other side. So we can move this now just to fill up this gap in here. I'll rotate this. Nope. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Duplicate this also. Rotate this. I need to rotate this also. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I've kind of filled up most of the gap in there. Okay. Probably even move this one this way and rotate this to fill up the gap in here. Alright. I'm gonna push this outward. Probably even rotate this. Let me rotate this like so. Push this down. Alright. Up here like so. That should be fine. Just filling up most of those empty gaps we have in there. Okay. Yeah, I think we're almost there. Let me just fill this gap gap for the bottom side. But it's just completely up to you. You have the greater control over this to multiply this all over the place. The only issue is that when we're kind of creating UVs, then we have to create UVs for the entire piece. But I want to kind of tackle the UVs differently because I want to kind of explain the UVs. So that's why we're going to do the UVs separately and do UVs for the entire model. So yeah, thank you for watching. So bye for now. See you in the next lesson.